Civil rights activists call for a Target boycott after retailer backs away from diversity programs. Okay, let's talk about this. This is the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Now, guys, DEI has been a hot button subject for a while now. And ever since Donald Trump got back into office and started axing these programs, there's been a big uproar. All right. There's been a lot of protesting. There's been a lot of people vowing to sue. Al Sharpton marched into Costco to, I guess, endorse them because they continue to have DEI programs. Al Sharpton still partying like it's 1965, apparently. But what we're talking about now, all right, people boycotting Target because they got rid of this DEI program is confusing to me. And one of the reasons why, I mean, there are Targets around where I live here, and I've been in them. And when I look around in Target, I see that they employ a whole lot of diversity. I see a lot of people of color. I see a lot of black people, a lot of white people, a lot of Indian people, Latino people, Asian people. I mean, I see a lot of diversity. So obviously, DEI doesn't mean that they're going to stop hiring diverse people. They were hiring them before the program, and they're going to be hiring them after the program. They're not going to fire the people that they have. Now, apparently, this boom in DEI hiring started with the overreaction to the death of George Floyd. All right. And I say overreacting because it's not that George Floyd's death means nothing. All right. It means a lot to a bunch of different people. To some people, apparently, it's a running joke, but we're not going to get into that. But a lot of people took it and they ran with it politically. And to me, they exploited it, which is the reason why I don't have a lot of patience with the overabundance of George Floyd jokes, because the man is dead. It's not his fault that these political people took it and these retail people took it and they twisted everything that the man meant in life. You know, I mean, he's a washout. You know, I'm not saying he meant a lot in life. He was a screw up, and he knew he was a screw up. And honestly, I don't think he would have wanted them to do all of this in his name. Honestly, based on, you know, some of the things I found out about him personally, the actual man, not the screw up. But nonetheless, that's what they did. And so the DEI stuff was well overdone. And I say that too because what ended up happening, because they went too far with it, is that people got into positions who were not qualified to have those positions. And we began to feel the effects of that. You know, quality went down. Quality of service went down. And everybody knew it. Like, everybody was seeing this. And Trump got into office and his administration, and they said, look, it's gone too far. We have to somehow, like, do away with this if we're going to actually be a productive country to the highest of productivity. And to me, that's respectable. You should want your country to be the best that it can possibly be. And you can't do that when you continue to lower standards because you want to check boxes. To me, it's common sense. However, those people who politicized DEI wanted everyone to believe that it was synonymous with blackness, primarily. Okay, it's always got to be about blackness. We stand out no matter what. You know, nobody is checking for this nationality or that nationality when a lot of times there are nationalities that can pass. They can pass as the dominant white culture in America. And when I say dominant, I mean the majority. There's more white people, obviously, in America than anybody else. And when you look at these other nationalities, unless they say, you know, I'm Greek, you know what I mean, or I'm Jewish or something like that, a lot of times you won't even know. You just say, oh, they're white. But black? Oh, yeah, you'll know a black person when you see one, for the most part. I mean, there are people who do so-called pass as other races, but for the most part, it's easier to put a black face on DEI concerns. That's the reason why we got mocked more than anybody else online. Okay, I'm not going to argue about this. You all know that that's true, but this is where we find ourselves today. So you got black people, unfortunately, who bought into this more than anybody. This is the reason why you have Al Sharpton running up in Costco, talking about this is where we want to shop. Couldn't go to a black-owned store or anything like that. I mean, the man is totally clueless. You know what I mean? But that's the reason why that happens, And you have so many people who are so damn afraid of Donald Trump. Oh, he's going to put us back on the plantation. Okay, see ya. Enjoy picking that cotton. That's you. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. That's what you're afraid of. Me, my life is not run by fear, but that's what you have, right? So, let me just read a little bit about what's going on here as far as the civil rights activists. They call for a Target boycott after the retailer backs away from diversity programs. And you also have Walmart doing this too. It says civil rights activists gathered outside the headquarters of Target Corp on Thursday to call for a national boycott of the retailing giant over its decision to phase out its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Target announced last Friday that it would join competitor Walmart and a number of other prominent American brands in scaling back their DEI initiatives, which have come under attack from conservatives and the new White House of President Donald Trump. Nakima Levi Armstrong, a veteran civil rights lawyer in Minneapolis and founder of the Racial Justice Network, joined other local activists and their supporters at a news conference to urge people to begin the boycott on Saturday, the first day of Black History Month. Many of the participants were regular Target shoppers until now, she said, and they were also Target employees, like I said before. This is despicable when you think about it. You want to boycott these stores that actually employ these people because they got rid of a program that they weren't using because they already were employing these people. You know what I mean? The insulting thing about this, right, is that when it's all said and done, it's like they want to act like black people don't want to compete. You just want to keep getting a head start. You just want to keep having people give you a boost up, but the real investment has to be in families. It has to be in successful unions. The sad part is I was watching a documentary about Dr. Martin Luther King and other civil rights leaders as well from back in the day. And they just happened to mention, because I was listening to some of their speeches, and they just happened to throw out there at that time, back in the 60s, that about 38% of households in Black America were single parent, single mothers, 38%. These days, it's almost 80, So we like to think that we've made all of these, steps forward and all of this progress and stuff like that, but it's nothing of the sort. Our broken families are still broken families. And within those broken families, when the father is missing, you've heard me talk about this before, it increases the likelihood of incarceration, of single motherhood. So it just continues to go on and on. Dropoutism, drug abuse, all of that comes from broken families. And the rate of broken families have almost doubled over the years. So when you talk about the idea of competing, of course, our children are not going to be as competitive. They're not going to be as worthy, as qualified, as a lot of these others who are coming from intact families. If not the father and mother being together, then the larger family. There's a commitment to the kids, to the children. This is something that you hear me talking about all the time. When I talk about positive images, it all comes together when I talk about these things in my videos. It all comes together when I talk about the need for positive images. T'Challa, for example, in Black Panther. It's like all of that means something to these kids, to have something that rings true to them, that's credible to them. This is important. When you have kids running around out here committing crimes and being lawless, and having or giving birth to the next generation the same way that's worse off than they were. You know, it's like this is so very important. But for some reason, we allow the media to tell us that we are threatened by DEI being taken out, these DEI initiatives being taken out of these retail stores and everything like that. When really all you have to do is believe in yourself to bring something to the table that they would dare not pass up. Remember, when we had the Negro Leagues in baseball, they came to black people to bring them in. Jackie Robinson. You could do something for this organization. It's not because they just loved that black man. They knew that talent was there. They knew that he was qualified to be there. If you raise your kids to be qualified, you know, to be there, to be able to do the job, to be able to compete, it'll go a long way. But have we even tried that? Have we even tried that investment in our kids? When we look to a mate, to the father of our children, to the mothers of our children, do we even think about that? Are they going to be good fathers? Are they going to be good mothers? You know, or is everything just circumstance? You know, there's no future in doing that. So before you go looking to your government and their initiatives to keep you dependent on them, before you do that, look into your own homes. Look into your own unions. Look into your own kids and ask yourselves, what are we doing to compete? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Whatever the government gives you, the government can take away. And yes, I am glad that Donald Trump is doing away with all of these DEI initiatives. It makes me sick. It's turned us into a joke. You guys have heard me talk about this so many times before. We have become a running joke because we have allowed them to put us on the face of their failure. That's what I mean by the black face of failure. What are we? Are we people of substance? Or are we just useful idiots? I'm glad that he's doing this because it might shock us into doing what we're supposed to do. And what we're supposed to do is stop these so-called liberals, the American Society of Magical Liberals, from using us to further their political ambitions. And we get nothing, ever. I should leave a link to that Martin Luther King documentary because he actually talked about that. A lot of people don't know that. Dr. Martin Luther King also talked about the deviousness of liberals and how he felt that they were worse than the Southerners that he grew up with. He grew up in the South. You know, he knew that what that was, but what he didn't expect were the people who say, we're on your side. We're right there with you. Those are the ones that will stick you in the back faster than anyone. Those are the ones who will have you thinking that you need them to keep you alive. You have it within you. We have it within us, all of us, regardless of race. We don't need these people to keep coming up with these initiatives that they get money for that we get nothing for. It's time to step out from under that. Fuck DEI. Yes, I said it because DEI does not equal blackness. It doesn't. Believe in yourself. Believe in your brilliance. All of us need to do that, regardless of race. But anyway, to those people out there who are targeting Target, you know, and Walmart, you're just making yourselves look stupid. All right. Those people or those corporations are employing black people. They're employing white people, Chinese, Asian, I should say, Indian, Latinos. They're doing that. The initiatives are just there to get people paid who are not really looking out for us whatsoever. You know, and of course, at the end, I got to tell you, DEI, remember guys, the main beneficiaries of DEI are white women and LGBTQ. But they're not running up in these places boycotting. They're not the ones going crazy online. They're using us to do that. And it's time to stop. All right, guys, I've talked about this long enough. You can get in the comment section. You can let me know how you feel. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe if you want to contribute to the channel. Of course, you can hit that super thanks feature on each and every one of my videos. Once again, thank you for listening to me babble on, and I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.